Do you feel it? Do you feel it in the air?
What's good, guys? Welcome to my Cutting 101 video. In this particular video, I will be talking about the nutrition aspect of dieting. So ever since I started this channel, the number one question that I always get from, whether it be friends or just random people is, how do I lose weight? How do I cut? How do I diet? And since I am dieting right now, I want to share with you guys my experiences and the way I approach dieting. This is like a very big topic, and so I wrote down a bunch of, you guys can see, notes, everything that I feel like you would need to know. So before I get into the nitty-gritty details, one of the biggest misconceptions that I always hear, or I always hear people ask me, is how do I lose fat in a specific area? How do I lose fat in my arms? How do I lose fat in my abs, on my abs? And the answer to that, guys, is that you cannot lose fat in a specific area. The only way to lose fat is to be in a caloric deficit. People always ask me, oh, how do I get a six-pack? It's not about doing 1,000 crunches a day. That's one of the biggest misconceptions also. When you do crunches, you're basically just building the muscle, your abs, underneath the fat. The only way to see your six-pack is to lose that belly fat that's covering your abs. Everyone has abs. It's just covered by fat. Depending on how much fat that covers it is how much abs is going to show. A six-pack is made in the kitchen, which is absolutely true, because nutrition is it's probably the biggest factor when it comes to seeing your six-pack, when it comes to just being leaner. I would say 90% of it has to do with nutrition. The number one goal when it comes to dieting is to, of course, lose body fat, but to preserve muscle. Now, I'm going to repeat myself. The number one goal of dieting is to lose body fat while preserving muscle. A lot of diets out there have you lose 20 pounds, 30 pounds in like a month or a couple months, which is ridiculous. If you're obese or if you're really overweight, now that might be possible because you do have a lot of fat to lose. But if you are like average, or you don't have that much body fat and you're trying to lose 20 pounds in a month, whether you're a guy or a girl, now that's just crazy. That's not healthy for you to do. It's very important to preserve muscle, because you go to the gym, you work super hard, you lift a lot of weights because you're trying to gain muscle. And when you cut, you don't want to lose all that progress that you made. The foundation of dieting, of nutrition, of everything is to basically understand this one concept, that it's all about calories in versus calories out. And everything else is based off of that theory. So if you want to diet, you have to consume less calories than your body needs so you can lose weight. And if you're trying to do the opposite, if you're trying to bulk, you're trying to be at a surplus of calories, so more calories than your body needs. But that's another video. I'll probably make a bulking video later on. So it takes about 3,500 calories to equal 1 pound. All right, I'll get into more, the math-based aspect of things. There's 7 days in a week, and if you're trying to lose 1 pound in 1 week, you could be at a deficit of 500 calories per day. That's why a lot of people, they take their maintenance calories, which is what your body needs to just maintain its weight, and you got to subtract 500 calories from it. So if, for instance, if my maintenance calories is 2,500 calories per day, then I would have to eat 2,000 calories per day in a week in order to lose 1 pound per week. The suggested amount of weight loss for a guy and a girl is completely different. So for a guy, I would suggest that you lose no more than 2 pounds per week, and for a girl, no more than 1 pound per week. And that's just because physiologically our bodies are different. Girls store more fat, and so on and so forth. So the healthy range for a guy is 2 pounds per week at most, and then 1 pound a week for a girl at most. But even though that's the suggested, upper cap on how much weight to lose, I would start off slow. I would start off, whether you're a guy or a girl, I would start off by taking off only 200 calories, even maybe 100 calories per day, and start seeing the results from there. Now, there are many reasons why you want to start off slow. The first reason is that if you cut too fast, let's say if your maintenance calories is 2,500, and you drop it by 500 immediately when you start off, you're not used to that. You're not used to eating so little calories per day, and you're going to drive yourself crazy. You're not going to feel good. psychologically it's going to be taxing. Second reason, if you cut too fast, you're not going to be able to maintain that weight. When I first started, I would basically, I would cut off a lot of calories per day, and I would do it really fast. But what I found out was as soon as I stepped on the scale, yeah, I did lose a lot of weight in a short amount of time. But when I would, cheat one day, eat something else that was bad, I would gain back a lot of weight, and I was pretty much back at where I started. So fad diets where you lose a lot of weight really fast, when you do it too fast, you're not going to be able to maintain the weight. And last but not least, you shouldn't cut too fast, because it's also unhealthy for your body. Your body needs a certain amount of macronutrients, calories per day. So if you do it too fast, if you're starving yourself, that's just going to have negative consequences for your body. You also don't want to plateau too fast, because if you cut out more than 500 calories per day as soon as you start, then when you actually need to drop the calories even more to lose weight, then you're going to be dropping a crazy amount to just beat that initial calorie deficit, the initial caloric deficit that you started at. But if you start at 100, 200, and then you start plateauing, then you just drop another 100, so you're at 300 now. And then you plateau again, do 400, and so on and so forth. So this mentality prevents you from just flatlining at a certain weight very fast. So to figure out the amount of calories you're gonna need per day, whether it is to maintain, to lose weight, to bulk, just go on Google, type in calorie calculator, and there's a bunch of reliable sites that you can use to calculate how many calories you're gonna need to achieve your goals. So on to the next subtopic. If you guys have seen any of my full day of eating, or if you guys watch my vlogs, you guys would probably know I'm a flexible dieter. I use If It Fits Your Macros. When you're using this approach, you're gonna need an app to track your calories. You're gonna need a scale to weigh out your foods. You're gonna want to keep track of two essential things: your calories and your macronutrients. So the amount of calories you eat per day is divided into three subcategories. When you eat foods, your body breaks down food and breaks down into proteins, carbs, and fats, and then your body uses those macromolecules for energy. So you do the math. If you need, let's say, 2,000 calories a day to lose weight, based off of how many calories you can eat per day, it's going to tell you how much protein, carbs, and fats you're going to need to make up 2,000 calories, because each individual macronutrient is a building block that you're going to need, and each one contains a certain amount of calories. That's why it's very important when you're picking the foods you want to eat for flexible dieting to look at your nutrition label and look at your proteins, carbs, and fats, and your calories, right? What do those three things equate to? How many calories do those three things add up to? And you want to find foods that are high in protein, moderate in the amount of carbs, and low in fat. All right, that's how I see it, because since fat is the most calorically dense out of the three macromolecules, you want to consume the least amount of it. Now, it's flexible because, again, you're just counting calories and counting your macros. In the end, your body doesn't recognize what kind of foods it's eating. All it knows is, I need to break down, this food to give myself these three macronutrients in order to give myself energy. So your body doesn't know, oh, I'm eating brown rice, chicken, healthy foods, versus eating a slice of pizza. It's not going to be like, oh, I ate a slice of pizza, so I'm going to gain a lot of fat now. No, it doesn't work like that. It's going to break down all those foods and basically add up the three different macronutrients, the totals for each category, to give you the ultimate total of calories that you've consumed in a day. Being flexible doesn't mean you should just eat McDonald's every day. If you choose to eat foods that are very dense in calories, then basically what's going to happen is you're going to eat one meal and you're going to have no more calories for the rest of the day. You don't want to just do that and then you're starving for the rest of the day because you can't go over your calories because you want to lose weight. So how you want to approach this is you want to find foods that are high in volume, that are very satiating. Satiating meaning that'll keep you full for, a good amount of time. So your body burns your carbs, then proteins, then fats, in that order for energy. That's why it's incredibly hard to lose fat because your body uses that as its last resort. Your body will break down your protein before it breaks down your fat. So if you're eating low carbs, then your body's going to go into survival mode. That's why it's very important to preserve your muscle while you're dieting, because your body will break down your actual muscle if you don't have your ratios right, your macronutrient ratios right, if you don't have a high protein intake. So for myself, I do a 40-40-20 ratio for my macronutrient split, meaning I do 40 protein, 40 carbs, 20 fats. And that's how I like to do it, because I like carbs more than fats. It's basically up to you guys how you want to program or design your split. If you're someone who likes carbs more than fats, then you can have a higher percentage of carbs. But if you like fats more, then vice versa. But always have a high protein intake. And the other two you can kind of vary, as long as in the end your macronutrients add up to your specific calories that you need to diet to cut with, then that's all that matters. Also, I would suggest to keep your fats at a lower intake, because like I said, fats are very calorically dense and you don't want to use up all your calories on fats. And carbs, are only 4 kilocalories per gram, so it's less calorically dense, and so you can eat more carbs basically without packing in too much calories from those carbs, if that makes any sense. So to summarize, you basically want to find out your cutting calories. Once you have your target calories per day, then you want to measure out all your foods using a scale and track that with an app like MyFitnessPal. And the app should track all your calories, all your macros for that day. That you should be able to lose weight, because it's all a science. It all comes down to the numbers and the math of everything. If you're eating less calories than your body needs, you will lose weight. You want to maintain this look, right, guys? So you want to do this at a slow rate, steady rate. You start off with only a little amount of calories subtracted, and then you don't see any weight loss, add more calories to take off more calories, and just keep doing that. Auto-regulate. Just keep see how your body is transforming. See how it's reacting to different things. Whether you increase your carbs, lower your fats, increase your fats, lower your carbs. There's a lot of variance that can go into this.
Do you feel the vibes?